Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Exploding Baby Kangaroo podcast. It is your host, Tired Joey, which is me. I don't know why I said that way. That was really weird. Um, I'm followed by my host, KABOOM.
Hey, what up, everybody?
And yeah, I mean, all right, KABOOM, what do you want to get into today?
I think we should have a moment of silence at first for Mr. Carl Weathers, who had passed away on Friday. Mr. Apollo Creed, Mr. The. Fuck.
You played a lot of roles.
Yeah, he
All
did
right,
play a lot of roles.
let's have a 10-second moment of silence. Alrighty.
Alright.
Well, obviously, I mean, that's the largest role I'd say he's known for is his Apollo Creed. Obviously, that's kind of I'm not too big into movies myself. Like I haven't watched too many movies. I think when I was looking back on his IMDb, he was in a lot of things that I had kind of seen or that I was interested in, but I don't. I just like I remember him so vividly as Apollo Creed, and like I don't really see him anywhere else. You know.
Yeah, I remember this. He was in one of the Predator movies. I think he was in the first one.
Honestly, if they just needed a badass dude to fucking look buff and badass, I'm sure he was like first on the, you know, roll
Oh,
call.
yeah. Yeah, he was also in the Mandalorian series as well.
I heard, dude. I really need to watch that. I think I watched like a good bit of the first season of it. Um,
Oh.
but I haven't watched much since that.
The first season was, in my opinion, good. The second season was great. The third season is kind of where it's like starting to fall off a little bit, in my opinion.
Is it due to like normal stuff we see going wrong with the whole Star Wars universe itself?
Yeah, it's kind of just following Star Wars like classic trends on the moment, but I'm gonna say this right now. I'm sorry if I sound really like tired at the moment. I was up at like 5:30 editing a video, so that's why I'm like
He's not on his A game.
I'm not on my A game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, audience.
No, but yeah, I get what you mean. They went about like the Star Wars universe kind of went on a route. Um, Obviously, not a lot of longtime fans liked. Um, I feel like the initial gripe that everyone was hearing about the Star Wars, especially the new Star Wars movies, I kind of came into it not from the aspect of like I'm going to come into these hating them and already, you know.
Hmm.
But even the like original trilogy Star Wars fans absolutely hated the prequels, but obviously a lot of people our age look back at the prequels because we grew up with them. Um, Kind of with a bit more starry vision, you know.
Yeah.
We enjoy those movies a bit more, and I think that's just for the most part what's going on with the new ones as well. Is the fans that have already developed, have already experienced all of this content, and all this information. It's just, I mean, other than a lot of it getting redacted, which does definitely suck. Um, like them absolutely destroying the extended universe and whatnot, and kind of even I would say destroying the original trilogy too. They just kind of threw a lot of that stuff away with the new movies. But just from like a perspective of enjoying a movie, I would definitely say that I just enjoyed them as a movie, not really as a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and I feel like one of like if you're coming up to Star Wars and all that, like, and you see these, like, it's not too bad. The new, obviously, the fans for the newer movies and all the older fans are not really liking them at the moment. But even then, like, even the new media stuff is not really doing good. Like, I hear Ahsoka wasn't really doing well, and
Yeah,
I kind of stopped watching that because I didn't really get it. I couldn't get into it for some reason. A lot of new Star Wars stuff I really couldn't get into. But the one thing that I am excited for is the Bad Batch season 3, which is which is pretty much the end of the Clone Wars saga. And
Yeah,
Clone Wars
there's a
is
ton
going.
of interesting stories in the clones.
Yeah, and they really knocked it off with the Clone Wars series. Bit of a rocky start in the beginning with the whole movie pilot thing being put into theaters. Kind of thought that was weird, but if it made some money, so George Lucas was like, "Yeah, go ahead, put it on a Cartoon Network."
Is that how George Lucas sounds?
I don't know. Yeah, in my opinion,
Okay.
and Jar
Yeah,
Jar
no, I
Binks.
think like especially obviously like the original trilogy, the prequels and the sequels, those are all live action movies and I think Star Wars for the most part works in those aspects because I mean, when you get down to it a lot of the lightsaber fights are just like sword fighting and that's kind of easy to make it look good, I think in real life. Where you get to some of the sketchier stuff is like some of the force powers because obviously you can't see the force, it's not a tangible thing, but I feel like whenever they do animated series, it always seems to get the mysticism of it right.
It looks good, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
Anim-
always looks solid.
Animated stuff is probably the best for Star Wars at the moment. It's like DC. Their movies are pretty not pretty trash, and then but their animated movies are pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched a lot of my previous roommate, one of our friends, Jeremy. He's huge into DC, like the whole DC world, and so just living it with him for a few years, I kind of also, just by proxy, watched a lot of those movies. We would watch them together. I think what it was the Killing Joke or the Last Laugh, the Batman movie. That one was just fucking
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, that was the Killing Joke. Yeah, that movie is good.
Very
But you
good.
know what else is good? Warhammer 40K, which a lot of Star Wars fans at the moment are kind of going towards at the moment, because that series, man, Jesus Christ, a lot of stuff's going on there.
Yeah, it's just I mean, you could always I feel like there's such a fine line between like representing a message and kind of just trying to like um preach an idea, you know?
Yeah,
And with a lot of these modern TV studios, they're so focused on the the idea or the change that they're trying to make in the world, you know? They're trying to, seem smart in a lot of aspects and it just kind of undercuts the movie itself because they're focusing so much on this as opposed to the story of the show or the movie that they're trying to make, you know?
yeah,
And so it's sad because they're ruining a lot of these IPs a lot of people love because they're trying to send a message when they could do it so much so much easier if it was like kind of more subtle and like not in your face. If like this is just like a an example. It's not even like true to anything that's kind of going on in the canon, but if like they were to just have like a character like be gay and still tell an amazing story, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that character being gay if like they
oh
changed
no,
the character to do that because that's not what they're focusing on. It's like okay, he's a gay character, but they're still telling like the story, it's still amazing story being told. And so, that's awesome and then all those people still feel represented in that character, but it's not like shoved in your face so that it's like the main aspect of what you're watching. You feel like you're kind of just getting preached at that point, you know?
that is true. As long as, in my opinion, as long as the character and the writing is good, it's not really a problem. It's
Absolutely.
just when it's just thrown in your face is when it does bother me a bit because I'm like, I just want to watch you guys fight. I don't really care. But
Yeah, I mean we're
just
we're watching these movies and experiencing these shows to kind of escape from the reality and enjoy this fantasy world or whatever. And you're kind of just throwing the real world back in our face and it's like what are we doing this for? Like, come on, let's have some fun here. You could send a message, but you don't have to like be screaming it in someone's face.
yeah, and you can absolutely have fun with 40K at the moment. We played Dark Tide last night, and that was a lot of fun. I think that was like you and CJ's third, fourth time playing that game.
Well, I've played that game even a decent bit by myself because I have my psycher's already at 30 and whatnot.
Oof,
Um,
dude.
but yeah, I mean, the Warhammer 40K universe is just kind of so amazing because I feel like it's similar to at least from an outsider's perspective, because I haven't really fully gotten into the universe yet. I've just kind of played the game, and we've kind of discussed some of the tabletop stuff. But it feels kind of like the SCP Foundation universe, where you can kind of like other people can elaborate on stories and like make the universe so grandiose, and it's like fun for everybody, and they're just like having fun telling stories as opposed to it being like something that someone has to send a message, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like they still even have all of those messages, like kind of like you could see like the results of like a hyper idealized religion, obviously in the universe. Like people are doing a lot of terrible things in the name of like, you know, their god and whatnot.
Doing
And
the
they're,
good deed.
yeah, dude, they're doing the fucking
Emperor's will.
bullshit. Yeah, the emperor's will. And like, so obviously there's a lot of stuff that you could relate, you know, to stuff that happened in the real world, you know, and kind of send that message. But in the very core of it, it's just a lot of people having fun.
Yeah, it's fun for everyone, really. Like we recently, me and Robert, we got into tabletop recently, and we're buying a lot of stuff at the moment. He is building an Astrid Militarum build, and I am building Space Marines and Tyranids at the moment. I'm having a lot of fun, but he has beaten me 2 times on tabletop in Battle of Attrition, so I have to get my rolls up there because it's just complete RNG. If you like RNG in video games and you like to gamble, you're gonna love tabletop. It's really fun. It's really good to play, and if you have someone to play with them.
Yeah,
With it.
you get that randomization, kind of like how you would have playing Dungeons and Dragons, because there's dice involved, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's always gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, I Robert took me through a whole kind of video explaining a lot of the characters, because obviously you guys want more people to play with, and I've expressed interest in getting into it just because like I like to do things that you guys are doing just so that you guys can have fun with other people while doing it, even if it's not something I'm super interested in. And so I ran through that whole like lore video of the different like people you could be, and I kind of settled on like the initial one I want to do is the salamanders, and then I want to make like an orc army as well.
Oh, orcs. So
Yeah.
salamanders. If I highly recommend watching Bricky's videos, guys, because there's so much lore. But if you want like everything condensed in it, watch Bricky. He has so many videos about it and so many uh lore videos on the chapters and the factions and all that. And the salamanders are probably the best choice if you want to be the good guys in this series. They actually care a lot about the citizens that they're fighting for. They actually will try and help you. And they are in tabletop. They are heavily flamethrowers. So and
Yeah.
flamethrowers do not really care about cover. They just go straight through it and will
Fuck yeah, baby.
will it'll fuck you up. Now for orcs, Joey,
That's a different
that
story.
that is a different story. That is
Yeah.
complete RNG. But if you
Yeah.
happen to hit those RNGs, you are a menace to society because that I watched Bricky's video again to go through all the factions and tabletops and all that. Orcs are fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, so to kind of explain it for the people listening, how doing damage in Warhammer works from what I understand, and like I said, I'm still getting into it um right now, is like your regular dudes, the like yous and me's of the universe, they have like a 50-50 chance of hitting, and this is on a six-sided dice, I believe, right?
Yes, 6 sided dice.
Okay, so everything that's a 3 and above, that is a hit, and then do you roll for damage after that, or
You roll for wounds.
for
So you hit
wounds?
you like say like oh this character hits on fives and up. You have to hit a 5 or a 6, and if you hit those, you get to roll for a wound. And a wound it could be like 5 and 6s. Again, it's very hard to explain at the moment because we're also still learning how to play. And
Mhm.
the more we play, the more we're going to learn about it. But I haven't really Me and
Well,
Robert
yeah.
haven't played in a good
So
bit.
when you roll that six-sided dice and you get a successful hit, what happens directly after that?
Then you go into your wound phase, so you have to roll, and if you get a 6, it's an automatic wound. If you get a
Okay.
5, then the other person has to roll to save the character, and depending on what the save roll is, it'll say on your reference sheet. You can either save yourself or you can watch your character perish and die.
Oh, okay. And so all of this is run on six-sided dice.
Yes, there are
Okay, so
some.
it doesn't go hot.
Yeah, there are some characters who acquire a certain amount of certain dice, but we do have those dice still covered, and we haven't really had those characters yet.
So it goes higher than 6 as well.
Yeah, it goes higher.
Okay,
Sometimes.
so anyways, back to the Joe Schmoes of the universe, the normal soldiers, they hit on a 3 and above. I believe the like super soldiers, the space marines, they hit on, if I'm not wrong, a 2 and above.
It depends on the character, but yeah, they hit on 2s, and will depends on what unit you're running. So for heavy flamers, could be a Terminator squad, it could be Space Marine bolter squads, it could be anything in the Space Marines. And if you want to get into tabletop, Space Marines are the sort of way to go because that's just the easiest way to get involved into it.
They're all around good.
Yeah, they're all around, and if you have the money, I'm gonna say go for it because
Uh, I I feel
tho-
like it's kind of disheartening to especially people trying to get into it, letting them know that it's a high price ceiling. There is alternatives, like you can either 3D print them yourself if you have a 3D printer machine, or buy them off of 3D printers from like Etsy.
yeah, true.
To like get those figures if need be. Like if money is really um a big issue in this, that's probably some of the cheapest ways that you could do it. And it's still like that's still not super cheap, which is unfortunate. But getting into any hobby can get a little expensive.
Yeah. So tax season is coming up.
Oh yeah, dude, I filed that shit already.
I filed mine too. So once I get my taxes, I already bought Gene Stealers. So I bought a Gene Stealer Patrol on Friday, and then once I get my taxes, I'm gonna buy this other set called the Leviathan, which comes with Tyranids and Space Marines. So that way we'll have
That's
me
the
and
real big boy box.
that's like the second big boy box
Oh, the
because
second biggest big boy
I
box.
have the no actually that is the actually really big box that you can buy
It's the
for
biggest you can get.
yeah because it comes with the Dreadnought and it comes with all these other certain Tyranid vehicles and all. So
The dreadnought is that giant robot coffin that keeps them alive to fight, right?
yeah, and once they die, that they can't escape it. It's basically their own tomb in
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, but okay, what I was getting at, obviously the Space Marines they get hit on 2 and above, the Joe Schmoes 3 and above, the Orcs, I think they can only hit on like a 5 and above, no?
yes, they hit on 5s and aboves, and I think if you hit your rolls on that, you can roll again, and you can use any weapon. So if you want to use that good old big old tank on the other side,
Yeah, so if RNG's on your side, dude, you could roll somebody.
absolutely, you can roll someone. You can dominate the field
I think
with
that's fun, dude,
orcs.
and that's like one of the things that draws me to them. Also, the fact that like their lore is just fucking stupid, you know?
Orc lore is pretty stupid, but they paint red. They paint their stuff red to go faster. They paint purple to be stealthy.
And it all fucking works because they believe it, do.
Yeah, they really do, they absolutely believe in it. Imaginary is key when playing orcs. Your drive, like a good example of that Bricky I said. The orcs are driving a car. Car is out of gas. No, it's not. I just filled it up today. Car still works.
There you
That's
go.
how it
Even if
works.
there's zero gas in the tank.
Yeah, like if they were just a bit more smarter and imagine that hey we can take over the galaxy, they could absolutely do it. That's how
Absolutely.
wacky their lore is.
Oh yeah. I think that's a really fun aspect of it. And that's like I think that's the aspect Robert enjoys the most too when we're talking about like the whole universe itself. Like even when we're playing the game, he really enjoys like the whole Ogren sub race that you could be. Where it's just the big dumb boys.
Hey, those big dumb boys can go one on one with a space marine. Don't
I'm not I'm not saying anything about the Ogrens. I'm just saying Robert really likes to feed into the role play aspect of it all, which I think I appreciate while playing. It makes it a little bit more fun.
Oh yeah, it's really a role playing strategy type game
Oh
for
yeah.
tabletop, and playing Dark Tide, he really gets into it. He goes,
Yeah.
smally boys.
Yeah, I mean, kind of we are getting a bit older and so we have to find fun wherever we can in video games cuz the competitive aspect of it like we talked in the previous podcast is just a little bit harder for us to keep up with now. We're getting closer to 30 every day.
Yeah, we're creeping up on 30. I got like 3 more years until I hit that. So,
Mhm.
uh, competitive is really going downwards.
Yeah,
It's
we have other
tough.
responsibilities, as we get older. Some of us will have kids, and it's just like
Yeah.
probably going to gaming's going to fall on the back burners. But I mean, we've already seen it happen with Zeke.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I miss Zeke. I'm just gonna say that.
I do too. I love that guy to death. He is one of the kindest, nicest, funniest, and handsomest people I've ever met.
Yeah, he's a lot more tamed now than he was back in the day, though. I will say that.
Oh yeah, dude. You know, he's got kids and a girl and everything now. He's saving up for a house. He's a grown man, dude.
Absolutely, he is winning the game at the moment. He is winning life.
Yeah, he's doing. I'm sure he's happy at some points. Oh, I don't. I have no idea about his psyche. He's probably happy at most points in his life. But that man
Ah,
works
yeah.
hard. He's one of the hardest working people I know.
Yeah, I hope he's doing well.
Me too.
Uh, Speaking of competitive stuff, and I want to rant about this. Apex is having struggle at the moment
In what
because
way?
they nerfed the controller setting for strafing on controller, and a lot of the some big Apex players are like, "What the fuck? Why did you do this?" And people are like, "Well, it was a problem in the community, so we kind of nerfed it. So you can't really controller strafe in Apex anymore." But also, they're making no changes in the new season coming up. Like, Broken Moon is getting more updates into it, which a lot of fans like me are not really happy about. We don't really like Broken Moon that much. Uh, it's kind of a weird map. It's a lot of open spaces. A lot of if you're running snipers in that game, you're gonna have a fun time if you can hit your shots. But also, they are adding perks into the game, which is really really interesting, and a new shield system. So
That's the one thing I've seen about the new season. I actually like that a lot.
yeah, they're changing good positive stuff, but a lot of the times the negative stuff is over saturating it. Apex is like one of like the biggest games that I love, but at the moment I've kind of been taking a really really big break, and it sucks that we're not gonna. Looks like it's not no, not gonna get a legend coming into season 20. Uh, but we are getting a reskin of what appears to be a flatline skin, which is pretty much a
Kangaroo.
which is pretty much a broken skin. So I think the skin was back in it was like the heat wave skin. It was back in season 1 and it was the best skin in the game. And they're going to I think they said they might put it in season 20 as a recolor in some event, but
That'd be cool.
yeah. So
I That's like probably the one thing that keeps me away from that game is and why I don't even play Valorant anymore, dude. Things cost. I understand it's a fucking free game, but you have so many people playing your free game because it's free, and then you're still gonna charge an arm and a leg for an event like that.
oh, yeah. Like and even then like the events are pretty stupid in Apex. Like I can understand for you for Valorant because I've heard that Valorant skins are like what $100 for whole
Yeah,
packages.
you get like a pack of like I would consider them like T5 skins in Smite to where it's like they're unique enough that it warrants a decent price for the skin. They're actually Valorant's opening kind of a market kind of like how CS:GO has. I think they're trying to make their skins worth it in real world value, which might actually help the game.
Hey, if it helps Valorant, it helps it. But my problem is the monetization needs to calm down a bit, especially with inflation and all that. And if you're gonna
Yeah.
make your monetization really, really the big start of your game, at least put something in there that the fans and the community wants, because it's not looking good for a lot of stuff. Like the recent event was Loba. She had a prestige skin, which it looked good. It looked pretty good. But the event in it was like $160 for that skin, and
Oof.
none of the skins in the event looked any good for me. I did not like it. The
Yeah,
only time
they
that
like make that one skin and feel like they could half-ass the rest.
Yeah, the only time I ever bought those events was Bloodhound's prestige skin because I main Bloodhound, and then Fuse's heirloom, which was the guitar. But
Hmm.
the heirloom came with an Egyptian themed skins in the game, so I was kind of like, well, it's kind of worth $160 at that point. But there are some times where it's just not worth it. Like
Those
I don't.
Egyptian theme skins, whenever they're in any game, I feel like they're always slappers, dude.
Yeah, they slap pretty hard. Like
That like gold color with, they usually use like blue in there. Oh, colors I could see. I love it.
my favorite one in the event, well, in that event was Bangalore because she just has an Anubis skin.
Oh,
By
that's
far
cool.
the by far like top tier skins in there, and then the other ones are pretty cool, but they didn't really match up with Bangalore's Anubis skin.
They just weren't as good.
Yeah, and then I kind of wanted to rant about this too. Do you think that game developers don't have a say anymore in what they're making now? I feel like it's more of the corporate side taking over video game development
Oh
because
yeah, if it's going to be like a AAA studio, the all the top of the top care about is the bottom end, how much they're going to be making. And so if they think something's not worth an investment, they're going to definitely not put as much time and money into that, or even just scrap an idea completely. You saw that with what was it? Who's the company that makes Fortnite?
Epic Games.
Epic Games. They had I think it was released even before Fortnite, and it was Paragon, which was another MOBA game. And
God.
Fortnite came out, and then they released the battle royale in Fortnite, and that just fucking took off. And so they just scrapped the entire Paragon game in general because it's not that doesn't matter anymore in their bottom line.
It
The only
wasn't
time you're gonna
profitable.
actually have a developer have a say in a video game is when they're making the video game themselves.
Yeah. So I genuinely believe that we're in the age of I think game developers do not have their sparks anymore because I think they're just being put down by the big suits of like EA, Activision, and all. It's mainly we're just here to make a quick buck. You don't need to do anything. You don't really need to try and make a video game good. The only game developers that I think are doing good in that are the indie devs because they're the ones experimenting. They're the ones doing stuff.
Oh
Lethal
yeah.
Lethal Company outsold Call of Duty, which fucking says something.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, like, especially when it comes to, and I think even at the bottom line, all of any media that's created can, like, at the baseline at least say it's art, even if it's like a video game and whatnot. When you kind of notice that the passion's been taken out of an art form and it's kind of just become about money, then the interest in that art is completely diminished because they're not making something through their heart or through passion anymore. You can't really relate to it anymore as a human. And so why are you going to invest any time or money into this product if all it's gonna do is kind of like be bland and not bring you the same excitement that you used to feel while playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A good example right now is the Justice League game that came out. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, which isn't not doing good at the moment. It's not really a banger. I watched Mr. Moist Critical play it, and I did get stuff spoiled for me. Spoilers. I'm not gonna say anything that happened in that game if you want to go play it. But there was some stuff in there that was lazy, and it kind of like it kind of drove me away not to play it. Mostly because it's another one of those looter shooter games where you have to grind in order to enjoy the game, which I really don't want to do that again because I have Warframe to do that. I
It's a
don't want to.
strange path for a game
Yeah,
to take.
yeah. Especially if it takes place in the Arkham series. It's a continuation from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
so
yeah, I didn't know much about the game. I knew that it wasn't being received well, but I also have been seeing a lot of people play it because obviously people are playing it right now. Um, and like visually it looks fine, and I've seen a couple of like clips of cutscenes where I'm like, okay, that looks okay, but yeah, I mean, if they're just going to like take an idea that cool, like everyone kind of roots for the bad guy, and so to have the bad guys killing the good guys, that's just a fun idea, and to be able to
yeah,
play the characters doing that is just an even more fun idea. And so I think they just piggybacked off the idea being fun and didn't really put in the effort.
yeah. It's probably best to play with friends on that because if you're just playing solo, it's gonna be a little tough to enjoy it. But for me, another game where I have to grind and grind in order to have a fun time and have a good experience is just not really for me, especially when I want to have a bunch of games where I have to do that already and stuff. Like Warframe for me is pretty much like the best grindy game because I told Robert the other week that I feel like when I play Warframe I'm accomplishing something in some way because there's so much stuff you can build and there's so much stuff you can do, but it feels accomplishing when you build or you completed something in that game. With these new games, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I mean, Warframe definitely has pretty much mastered the that genre, And I mean, obviously we had Destiny coming in there and kind of like stealing some spotlight for a while, but even after everyone realized that Destiny's kind of a shit game, they there was a huge wave that went over to Warframe, which was really cool because that Digital Extremes, they put a lot of effort into that game, and they've released since I last played, which was definitely years since I last
Yeah.
played. Um, Coming back in and being able to experience so much new content that has given variety to that game that can feel very droning, because like you said, you're just kind of, it's a looter shooter, you're just slicing up baddies, going through waves. The game takes a long time to play and do stuff, but the whole time it feels like an enjoyable experience because you could go do something different, and it kind of completely changes the game. You can go play Monster Hunter a little bit. You can fucking pretty much play Sea of Thieves in that whole Railjack experience.
Yeah.
It's really cool what they've done with it, and it's also still the perfect game to turn off your brain and just like earn some loot that you can enjoy later when your brain isn't turned off.
Everything is 100% ownable in that game.
Yeah,
You just have to find out where the parts are at and all. But with
yeah.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, it's I gotta do this mission like 10 more times in order to get this, and it's like,
Oh, that's rough.
I have to do this escort mission. I have to do this. I have to do that, and it's like the loot isn't really something I want. I guess I don't know. I haven't played the game, so I can't really talk too badly about it. I'll buy it when it's on sale.
Yeah, we've not really been able to form our own experiences off of it yet.
But from what I'm seeing, it's just not really what I not at the moment. Let it cook a little bit more. It needs to be staying in the oven a
I'm
bit.
sure like later on down the line they might update some things, change some things, and the game might become, like a lot of developers do that where they put in time afterwards and it becomes a, decent game. Um but or it can just get like completely scrapped like a lot of games have been. We've been witnessing that a lot.
It
Like
depends on the
ideas
player
just
base.
completely getting scrapped.
Yeah, right now, I think right now the player base isn't really doing that well.
Mm.
They don't have an offline mode. The game is completely
Oh, that's
online
also
only.
rough.
Yeah, so if you just want to play offline, good luck. But they did say they're gonna add it in, but I don't know when. And I think that feature should already be in the game, especially if you want people to play it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, games at the moment are mainly ran by the big corporations and suits and all that. non gamers. They're mostly ran by people who see a dollar bill and just go.
Yeah, I mean that's just the world right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially, did you hear about the Unity stuff back in like I think November, where he wanted to charge people for having Unity games on their computer?
Just having them on their computer.
Yeah, like he was going to charge them money for having just the games installed. Like I think it was
That's
like
nuts.
$10 or something. And I heard about that and I'm just like, what the fuck? That's like most games on here are Unity and run on the Unity engine. Like charging that much money is gonna be rough for some people.
Oh, for a
And
lot of people, yeah.
yeah, well, majority of the people, but also a lot of like indie devs at that time were like saying like, "Hey, fix this, or we're gonna not use your engine." I think it
Yeah.
was Slay the Spire was making a sequel, and they were like, "Yeah, if you do this, like, we're just gonna go to a different engine." Cult of Lamb was thinking about taking the games off the stores so no one could buy them because they don't want people dealing with Unity's greediness.
Yeah, dude. Greed is
We are in the age of greed at the moment. It's
the
just
greatest toxin the world has ever seen, in my opinion.
yeah,
I cannot stand greed. It like can it genuinely can boggle my mind. It makes me so angry.
100%. Yeah, we're living in the age of greed and money and all that. So it's very rough at the moment.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, like, you got people constantly. I feel like chasing the opposite now. I think at least people that are already successful, they're kind of chasing the opposite because obviously we've been seeing a lot of people um, switching off of certain platforms, kind of like Twitch and whatnot. Because I mean, we initially saw it with one of the ones that sticks out in my mind was Ludwig Ogren when he switched from Twitch, and he was like one of the most subscribed people on Twitch at one point. He switched
Yeah,
over to YouTube because they were willing to fight for him a little bit more, you know. And I think
yeah,
like that genuine human care and interaction is something that is a lot more sought after now as opposed to just like a paycheck.
yeah. I think people who are leaving Twitch at the moment are caring more about their passions and all. In that, generally, like at the moment, Pokimane is also leaving Twitch. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it, yeah, but I didn't know. I know that she hasn't like, from what the last thing I've heard on like Twitter the past couple days is that she hasn't selected anything yet.
Yes. I think she's gonna go to YouTube. Generally, what I've heard is that streaming on YouTube is a lot better than streaming on Twitch because you have more of a. Yeah, it has. I think it has something to do with finding creators in at the moment. But
I
Twitch is
mean, yeah, it's like uh, for people that are streaming on a scale kind of similar to us, something like that's going to be more appealing. The fact that you can have kind of that initial audience because Twitch, all they do is care about their big creators and how much money they're making them, and they do not spotlight small creators almost at all. And it's a sad thing to see.
yeah, because well, those are the big money makers. You know, those big old streamers are making Jeff Bezos a little bit more money because Amazon owns Twitch.
Yeah.
But what do you? Yeah, she's. I think she's decided that she's leaving Twitch. I don't know if she's gonna go. I don't know if she's retiring. I don't know if she's going to another platform. But I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers just retire. Like I think either they're retiring or taking a break this year because they are. I'm having a brain fart at the moment. Uh, God,
I can I can see how um especially like Twitch becoming so increasingly popular over the like past couple of years with people like Aiden Ross and Kai Sinat um and XQC and like they've been coming up and they're streaming like every day. They're putting in multiple hours every day. And it's like I understand they're making a lot of money for doing like a little bit of entertaining. And obviously a lot of people are like, "Oh, boo-hoo, they have to, there's not really a lot of empathy for streamers and the amount of work that they do have to put in because they're putting in multiple hours almost every day to create entertainment and content for all these people watching, and
Yeah.
that can I can absolutely see that being such an exhausting thing to do.
Yeah. It also takes a very, very big mental toll on people.
Oh
So
yeah, you have to be on all the time.
you have to be on it. You have to be on your shit. You have to upload this. You have to make sure this is correct. You have to sometimes you have to censor yourself on this some topics. But all in all, sometimes it's the audience too, where the audience will be like, "Hey, this wasn't up to my standards. I don't like it. Fix it." And it's like, "Well, I just want to do this and that stuff." And
Yeah, I
it's
mean, you kind of get that in the head that you have to appease your audience because they're the ones that brought you there, you know?
true,
But
yeah.
they were originally there for the content that that person was creating. And I feel like a lot of people just try to hold on to that nostalgic feel of like, oh, you always hear all the time, I miss the old blank. I miss the old, I miss the old Kai Cenat. I miss the old Aiden Ross. I miss the old Ludwig Ogren.
Yeah.
And you hear that all the time. It's like, uh, it's confusing to me because it's like when I want to say to that person saying all that is like, have you not grown in these past few years? Have you not changed at all?
Yeah, the mindsets are still stuck in like whatever era that is. Like you need to go with the streamer and all.
Yeah, it's like we're all growing, and generally like content creators to fan base, the age difference is a little bit like that content creator is getting a lot older than that fan is turning within that time. Like the fan like might be becoming like 20 and the content creator might be going into his 30s. And that's a pretty good age difference. Someone who was like 25 at one point is not gonna I'm assuming want to do the same exact thing they were doing at 25 when they're 30. That kind of feels
Yeah.
exhausting to me in my mindset as a human being, doing the same thing over and over and over because it's expected of you. That's just not natural.
It's not. It's a lot of mental draining and a lot of just like do I like even sometimes do I want to get up and do I want to stream this game? Like do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Like majority of the time I think streamers and YouTubers they just want to take a break. They just want to upload something and have their fans be like, "Yeah, we like it. We love it. It's something that you are putting out. If you're having fun, we're going to have fun with it." And I think that's like the best way for an audience to enjoy content.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, there's dangers in that kind of parasocial relationship. You've seen time and time again how a parasocial relationship can result in, um, kind of like not extreme catastrophe, but catastrophe generally for the person that's being idolized in that situation. I mean, you've had your like, um, I think I heard recently the lady that shot Selena is getting out of prison.
What?
But yeah, it's
I
you
thought she
get
got life.
no, I think she's I don't know. I saw a TikTok video of someone saying they're gonna throw hands with that lady because they killed Selena. I was like,
Well,
oh, she's getting
yeah.
out of prison. But yeah, you get to that point where it's like the idea of that person is so idolized that like if this person sees them and the reality is not the idealized picture they have in their head, it can drive them insane and they can do something terrible, like killing somebody.
Yeah. Very it's a very dangerous thing to have a parasocial relationship with someone that you do not know because
Yeah, and
it'll
it's like these everyone's developing with content creators, musicians, actors, they develop an idea of who they expect them to be in their head, like this perfect person that they've molded in their head that's going to be like come down from heaven and be their best friend or like, however they believe the relationship is going to go. And when that
Yeah.
reality comes crashing down, that is such a dangerous thing. So I can understand when a lot of creators want to kind of push down that parasocial relationship. And I feel like really it's like being able to put yourself into something is what makes something fulfilling. But if they put themselves too much into something and this person gets an like, it's a really thin line to have to tread constantly, and I can see how that can be mentally exhausting as well, and that whole like aspect of that, you know?
Yeah. And I think Pokemon got it the worst in this and all that parasocial thing, because a lot of the times, majority of her fans, I believe, are male, and a lot of the times they were fantasizing about being with her. They were donating so much money to her just for her to say their name, and to me, that I think that's why she's stepping away from this, because it's very creepy and very very just like it's creepy and oh no, it's just dumb. Like she's
Yeah.
probably just like, I don't want to be streaming to some of these people because they're just creepy and they fantasize me, like they fantasize like me sleeping with them and all. Like I don't like that.
Yeah, no one likes to get, I mean, obviously when you're saying this from the aspect of a man, um men get so undersexualized because I mean obviously there's certain traits that are more idealized when it comes to us, you know?
Yeah,
Um it can be like in a really appealing thought for men to be over sexualized cuz you're like you don't ever get that ever, but when you get to the point of like women's perspective where they're being over sexualized constantly,
it's
I
weird.
can absolutely see how that can be an exhausting thing to have to deal with all the time. Because you just want to have interactions with people as people. You don't want to feel like some sort of object this person's trying to conquer. That's some
Yeah,
bullshit.
100%. I feel bad for her when that
Oh
whole
yeah.
I feel bad when she was dealing with that whole drama when, apparently people found out that she had like a boyfriend or someone that she was like romantically getting involved with, and her male Twitch audience, whatever, got really upset about it. She started losing subs, started losing tier threes, and people just started going in her chat, just started harassing her a bit, saying like, "How could you would do this to me? We were gonna be so fun together." And it's like, buddy, calm down. Like,
I feel like
she
that's a
doesn't.
good thing though.
Yeah,
Let them go.
that type of fan base is what I'm kind of afraid of, because like it's not, it's also like with the whole dream stuff, like people drawing him as like weird sexual stuff. It's like, well, that's kind of weird. It's like, why? It's also the reason why I don't want my face on the internet, because I've seen how bad things can get, and I just don't want that. Especially if I have a family at some point in my life and this takes off, I don't want to deal with that, and I don't want my family to go through that, because it's just something that is really, really not good for in both sides. Like you'll have very obsessive fans that will do something that will be very, very stupid and could end them up in prison. So
Do
that's
or do you plan to kind of like as if anything takes off and starts to get larger, do you plan on deleting um like stuff on your Instagram and whatnot that has your face in it?
nah, because that's my Instagram and it's privated. So, and
Oh, okay.
I only will allow people that I follow with that.
Gotcha.
But I will make another Instagram for for my Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. But at the moment, that Instagram is privated, so no one can really get into it. No one can really look at it and stuff. And if I do feel like this is taking off, then yeah, I'll delete the pictures. Because still, I don't want that my face being out there, because I want to be able to enjoy my privacy in
Well,
all
like
this.
you said, it's your Instagram and whatnot's private, so if anyone's giving out your face, it's gonna be someone you know.
Yeah, true. But then again, I do
We
what
should
Swagger Souls does. I just make sure that nothing is getting shown out there,
we
because
should we should get you like a balaclava that is hot dog colored and it has like a mustard thing going down the middle in between your eyes.
well, I do have a hot dog costume, and I do have sunglasses, and I do have a balaclava, but it's not really a hot dog thing. So if I ever want to do face cam, I'll just blur my face.
Well, I want to do these in person eventually, and if you want to cover your face, I'm perfectly fine with that. Um, but I do want to take like video stuff of us in person
Yeah,
because, I mean,
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm kind of just gonna be cautious with it because I've seen what the internet is and I've seen what they do to certain creators. So I kind of don't want to do. I don't want my face out there to
I
be.
think I think me and you are on polar opposite aspects of kind of our identities on the internet. Well, you're just an anxious person in general, I'd say.
Yeah, I am. I'm really anxious. I have a lot. I've been diagnosed with severe anxiety and all. So like, I kind of when something like really really basic does just happens, I kind of just like will panic about it.
Yeah, I've felt anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety, especially more recently with my new job and whatnot. And so I know how that feels. And so just like the idea of having to deal with that constantly, first off, I want to say I'm sorry that you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But it's also like we're very polar opposites on having the like fear of shit like that happening. You know, it's like that's something that went on in your mind. You're like, I'm afraid someone is going to take my identity or going to find out where I am, hurt me or hurt my loved ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you 1,000,000% that thought has never crossed my mind.
Really.
Yeah, not a single time.
That's pretty cool, man. I wish I had that fucking mindset, but I guess because I mostly seen a lot of like what the internet can do with creators and stuff. Like for a good example for me is Swagger Souls. Swagger
Mhm.
Souls has like seen a lot of like fan fiction stuff. Has seen a lot of crazy stuff. He's had people come to his house, his dad's house,
Yeah.
and he had to say on his podcast like, "Hey, don't go to my fucking house. My dad has a gun. He'll shoot you on sight. Be careful with that."
Oh,
And
it's like
don't
family home.
his family home, yeah.
Oh.
And he's like, don't ever go to someone's house uninvited and be like, I'm a fan of you, and be like, I didn't invite you. Who
Yeah,
the
dude, that
fuck are
shit's
you?
bonkers. The fact that, I mean, grown people doing it is one thing. I mean, there's literally tours here in fucking LA where you can go and see celebrity homes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like
it's
that
it's
shit exists.
it's doxing at its finest right there. That I think that's doxing.
Yeah, and then when you get to people like streamers are, I think I would say streamers can be as big as celebrities for sure. Like you could
Hmm.
probably show someone across the world a picture of a streamer and they might know who it is, you know, just the same as a celebrity. And then there's like they've been having to like live that same lifestyle living in these gated communities where like people can't access because people are nuts, man. Grown people going to someone's home is one thing that's already like you're fucking nuts. What are you
That's a
doing?
big fucking no right there.
But
Do not
parents
do that.
taking their children? Have you seen that shit?
No, I haven't.
That shit's
No.
insane, dude. They're taking their like they have no common sense. They're taking their children to a stranger's home.
That's fucking baffling. Why? What are they treating it like a family event? Like, all right, we're gonna go see Ludwig, guys. Come on, get in the
I
car.
that kid probably must have just been crying and you know like a lot of parents hate hearing their kids cry.
Mhm.
Usually they can give them an iPad, but if they want to go see David Dobrik at his home, you know, you're like, how do I get this fucking kid to stop crying? I'm going to go take him to see David Dobrik. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Hey, David Dobrik, my kid's been crying to meet you. Can you just like come outside and say hi to him? David Dobrik's not gonna come out and say hi to you. He's gonna be like,
He's
"Who
going
the
to
fuck
call
are
the
you?"
police.
He's gonna call the police. He's gonna be like, "Who the fuck are you?" I don't what.
If
No.
some if some some lady and her child came up to my door and was like, "Hey, my kid wants to see you." I'd be like, I'm going to Sparta kick that kid in the chest down the stairs.
I want to punt that kid like a football. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm still baffled that people do that.
Yeah,
But like, it's also kind of creepy too. Like, I don't know that kid. I don't want to. Like, hey, thanks for being a fan, but like, hey, we could have done this like a little bit
in public
better.
or like in a scheduled setting, like a meetup or something. It's like that's what those
Yeah,
are for.
yeah.
Why are you coming to my home?
You're coming to my place of where I work, where I sleep, where I have, maybe I have kids who also now are in jeopardy of safety.
Yeah.
It's just that to me is very, very just not good and baffling to me. That, hey, it's my son. He wants to meet you and all that, Mr. David Dobrik. Can you just like come out and autograph him? It's like, no, I'm not gonna do
Autograph
that.
my child, please. Please sign my child.
Please sign my kid.
Mr. David Dobrik, please sign my child, please.
Mr. Beast, can you sign my kid?
Mr. Beast, can you sign my kid for $1 million? Mr. Beast, please.
And then Mr. Beast just puts the kid because he's just like, fuck that kid.
And he gives the parent a Mr. Beast chocolate bar. You ever had those?
No, I haven't. I haven't had any Mr. Beast products.
I heard they're good.
I wanted to try his Mr. Beast burgers, but then I hear like,
I have tried that.
is it good?
I tried it before the whole conspiracy went on. I think when he was still, because all he was doing was kind of giving, during the pandemic, ghost kitchens the opportunity to still stay open by cooking this food,
Mm-hmm.
And so once it got to such a large scale, because there's so many small businesses, especially here in LA and whatnot, where they're like, okay, we're gonna start cooking this food just to remain open because Mr. Beast's name is attached to it. He couldn't control that quality across, and so he was suing them for besmirching his name because his name's attached to it.
Yeah.
And they were making a bad product, or they were even making people sick. Like I don't know the full extent of it. And so it was just like, that was a whole thing. But I had it before that whole thing happened. The fries were okay. I like the seasoning they used. The burger was a little wet. I didn't get it a second time. I only got it the once, and it was cool.
I've heard bad things about it at the moment, so I'm like, I'm not really gonna go try that. I don't think we have one around where I live.
And I don't know if, because of like the lawsuit, if it's even still happening. It's probably closed down.
It's probably being constructed into another restaurant at the moment.
I think I might still have my Mr. Beast burger box. I don't know if I kept it or not.
Oh, keep that. That might be worth something someday.
We'll see if I still have it. But yeah, I obviously with his chocolate bar, that's something that he can monitor a lot better. But I kind of like what he was doing, because in a lot of the chocolate that we have here in America's huge. And so
America is huge.
Like
country.
Transporting shit across the country can take some time. And I believe that they put a preservative in the chocolate, kind of like our Hershey's chocolate and whatnot. And a lot of Europeans and people outside of the US will say that preservative tastes like vomit.
I ain't got no problem with the chocolate here, but
I really don't either. But I can taste that tang that they're talking about. But yeah, I think Mr. Beast was trying to like. Sorry for interrupting you constantly. Mr. Beast was trying to make a product that's not like that.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it tastes good, it's fine. As long as it does, like, I look at the stuff and behind it, as long as it doesn't have like poison or toxins in it, that's good. It's good to eat.
Yeah, that's the least we could hope for, right? Is that the people giving us that are like distributing the food aren't poisoning it?
Yeah, if I see that has 99% lead in it, I'm gonna be like, no, fucking, no way, I'm not eating that.
Turn us into some rabid dogs.
Yeah, or it doesn't have any addictive chemicals in it that are like maybe like, I need it, I fucking need it.
Have you ever tried that Prime?
No, and that's because for me, on a personal level, I don't like Logan Paul, and I don't really mind KSI that much, but I really don't like Logan Paul, so that's why I'm not gonna buy it and give him money. Fuck that guy. He scammed a bunch of people.
There's a lot of YouTubers that have scammed a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers, and those
speaking of Pokimane, her whole fucking cookie fiasco.
I remember that.
She was just selling another brand of cookies with her name. You're too broke to pay for this. Yeah, and then she called her fans broke.
How to lose a fucking fan base right there.
That's hilarious, dude.
Oh, you know my god. You're just broke, bitch.
Yeah, dude. That's nuts.
What
I'm gonna
just
start calling everybody broke, dude.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's my plan. I'm going to immediately. All of our audience is broke, dude.
Oh, well, you're calling me broke then. I'm broke as well, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I'm broke too, but we're a broke little family.
Yeah, we're all broke in this country. We're all broke in this little podcast together. Let's just stay broke together, guys.
Absolutely. Rather be broke and happy than oh no, that's a cringy thing to say.
Have you seen the tax stuff going on right now where people are getting like nothing back in their taxes? Like people
Yeah, I think there was like I literally watched a video of someone saying like don't file your taxes until like late January, something like that, because you're getting like I'm getting back over $1,000.
You're getting back over $1,000? I don't even know how much I'm getting back.
You know, I
Well,
do my taxes through Cash App.
Oh.
Yeah, Cash App has they work with Credit Karma, and I think one of them bought the other out, and you could file your taxes. Like I got my W-2 from online, printed that out. You could even take a snapshot of it and it'll autofill all the information. You just double check that, and then you could just file it like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know you can do that. I'm old fashioned. I go to my a tax guy for that. I have a tax guy.
Dude, I won't support that system.
What do you mean?
The tax system in this country?
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty.
Other
bullshit.
countries tell you how much you owe.
Yeah, other countries will tell you how much you owe, but America is like tax time.
Actually,
how much?
Your employer, I think, in other like European countries, they do all of that information, then just tell you how much is owed for your taxes, and that's it. And then you're just like, oh, okay, or how much you get in a refund. I don't know if refunds happen in other countries. If I'm gonna be honest.
Well, they don't have freedom, so you know.
It's stupid. So many countries have freedom. Nah, they don't got freedom like us, brother.
We have the best freedom, though.
We got monster truck freedom.
We got monster truck freedom. We got that.
We got order a bucket of chicken nuggets freedom.
We got that McDonald's freedom, buddy.
We got shooting up public schools freedom.
You ever see a bald eagle in France? I don't think so.
France is. Their national bird is a baguette.
Shout out to you guys in France, by the way.
I'm still waiting. Not shout out to you guys in France.
No, I'm gonna
xenophobic assholes.
Okay, well, the guy.
I don't give a fuck if we don't have a French audience. Fuck France.
I'm only saying that because I have something coming from Etsy that
from
is
France.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna see this and crush your product? He's like, fuck you, American.
He better not, because I spent money on that shit, and I can open a case on it. So you out there in France, if you're making my my Warhammer stuff, you know, if you break it, you're gonna owe me back a lot of money.
You break it, you buy it, bitch.
Exactly. How long have we been going for? We've been going for 1 hour and 2 minutes. Do we have anything else?
1 hour and 2 minutes. Anything else you want to talk about?
We covered the Warhammer stuff. We covered majority of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
We can. You saw? Oh no, you didn't see.
I didn't see it.
We had a conversation before this. Dude, Aiden Ross got fucking big scammed by 21 Savage,
dude. Get fucked, Aiden Ross.
What'd he do to you?
Yeah, I just don't like Aiden Ross. Okay,
I don't feel those kind of emotions for anybody. I've said this before to you. I found I really always sound cringy when I say it, but I live in this world through love, you know? God, it sounds cringy every time I say it.
You're a cringy person. Cringy.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, okay. I've had my fair share of cringe makers, okay? But I don't hate the kid at all. I think he's not stupid, but he's ignorant about a lot of things, and he, like most of our generation and the generation below us and the generation above us and every fucking generation that's ever existed, because we're all human beings, is stubborn. He's very stubborn, and there was one point where I watched that Dr. K interview, and there was things where he was just like, he was saying things about women, and Dr. K was like, I don't really think that the world is how you're seeing it through your eyes, but I can understand your frustration. He was like, no, doc, you don't understand. These women are crazy. These women are crazy. You don't understand. And like, he was just so dead set in it. It just like, it seemed like a wall that could not be breached. It was exhausting watching that conversation.
And I think Andrew Tate was also to blame in that scenario because he hung out with Andrew Tate a lot. He idolized him. You know, he did a lot of things for Andrew, and then I think that mentality kind of just stuck with him. Like I'm hanging out with Andrew Tate. I gotta think how he thinks. I gotta do what he does and stuff. Spoiler alert: don't do what he does. He got a lot of stuff going on with him at the moment. But
Yeah, I think because I think in that interview he had mentioned that I think he said that his dad wasn't super involved or something like that. And
yeah,
so when you get that a kind of male figure who's just going to show you a bit of care, because I mean, I'm not saying anything that not all men know, but men aren't cared about really at all in a lot of
oh,
aspects in life.
100%. I see it
You're told to
sometimes.
fucking suck it up and get over it. And so when you see, and what I think is like a really good aspect of kind of that whole movement that Tate was having. Obviously, I do not endorse Andrew Tate. I do not
No.
agree with a majority of the things he said, but a certain aspect of that men's movement of like, you know, don't worry about it, pick yourself up, king. You got to work to better yourself, like that kind of stuff. That is a good aspect of that movement.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are a lot of toxic traits where it's like the dehumanization of women and putting women down. Obviously, I don't agree with any of that stuff, but men should be cared about more. I don't think that that's something that is an absolute alien thing to say. You can watch, like, a woman will watch a man cry and instantly that's an ick. Have you heard, that whole like
Yeah, I've heard
that
about
ick
that.
thing, dude? It's just
Yeah.
like, it's funny seeing videos of like this dude has a list of fucking 1,000 things that are just icks, and it's just normal fucking things like men shouldn't breathe on a Tuesday, like shit like that, you know?
Like, what did I do? I'm just here existing. I'm here vibing. What did I
Yeah,
do?
and it's just like eh, being told that you're worthless so much, it can be exhausting. I felt that as a man being told I'm like, and I think that's a big aspect why I haven't gotten into a lot of relationships because I'm just trying to avoid ever falling into that scenario if it were to be something that happens. Um, like someone telling me my worth. A lot of my life these past few years has been improving my self worth and not allowing anyone else to determine my worth. And I feel like a lot of men's worth is being determined by other people. And that's definitely something that I want to see change because men do matter and we do deserve to be cared about and loved and be able to express our emotions without feeling like we're less than, you know? And so it's
True.
just like when he was getting that kind of guidance and feelings from Andrew Tate, I can kind of see how he gravitated towards him. I think that's the whole aspect of someone like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson, where they're showing men that love that they don't experience on the daily from other people. And it's a very enticing thing. So I can see how a lot of young men, um, fucking,
We understand that they see that world in this in that aspect. Like, oh, you can't, this girl's a hoe. She slept with so many guys and all that stuff. Like, well, she's a bitch and all that. Like, well, everyone's really a bitch at this point. Like,
yeah, they're just their focus is being put on something like that as opposed to actually like bettering the movement for men.
yeah, and it'll grow out of him. Like, I shit
Oh
on Aiden
yeah,
Ross because of what he has done
he's
and what
gonna
he has
mature. I
said and
think
all
he's already
that.
matured a
But
good bit, anyways.
yeah, and I don't really hate Aiden Ross. I hate what he's done to a lot
Yeah.
of people with the scams and all that. But
Oh yeah.
majority of but my thing is, I really hope Aiden Ross grows as a person. I think he's like in what, his early 20s. He has
He's
a lot
very
of
young.
he has a lot of time to grow. Like,
Yeah, that's like that's why I say I don't hate ever. I try to love and then hold people accountable when they do something wrong. That's like even people like my dad. Like there's always that idea of like, "Oh, I'm your family. You just have to kind of fucking deal with the bullshit that I'm putting on you, you know?"
yeah,
I'm like, "No, I obviously still love you. You're my father, you're my brother, you're my cousin. I obviously still love you. You're my uncle, but I'm not going to allow you to do this bullshit. I'm going to still hold you accountable whenever you are doing that bullshit and call you out. But I'm still
yeah.
going to love you. I'm still going to be here at the end of the day when you're ready to make that change, open arms. But I'm just not willing to put up with bullshit."
Yeah, if you gotta make the change first in order to make the person happy. Like if a person sees you making that change, you'd be like, okay, well, he's at least trying to be a better person. And that's all you can be in this world. As long as you're a good person and as long as you can do whatever you want as long as it's legal. You can be as long as it's fucking legal. Just make sure and
Do
all that.
whatever makes you happy as long as you ain't hurting no one else.
Exactly. And that's what we're not seeing in this day and age. We're seeing a lot of hateful stuff. We're seeing a lot of madness go on without it. It's just turn off the TV, go to your family and loved ones and be like, hey, I love you and appreciate you, and just give them a hug. Just like make sure like they're having a bad day.
Check in on them.
Yeah, check in on them. All that, you know. But
check in on your strongest people. Do that today. Do that as you're listening to this right now. Pause the video and check on your strongest people and make sure they're doing okay.
Call your mom, call your grandma, call your dad, call your cousins, call your anyone.
You can't call your dad.
Fuck you, dude. You can't just do that when I'm going in on this. You can't. What the fuck, dude? Context: my dad left me for drugs, so he chose hardcore drugs over me. So,
what a baller move.
What a baller move. Yeah, he's fucking.
You should do that to your kids, dude. Generational trauma. No! Let's get it, dude. No! Let's get that generational trauma going, dog.
And I can't even afford a kid at the moment with the way
I thought you were going to say drugs.
Oh, no, I can afford drugs.
Oh,
but I can't afford a kid at the moment.
Then we know what we need to do right now, baby.
No, I'm taking a break from drugs at the moment.
Whoa, man. Whoa. What drugs are you doing? Oh, my gosh.
Edibles.
Oh my god.
Is weed considered a drug now?
This dude does drugs, everybody. He smokes the marijuana.
You don't want to talk, bitch.
Huh?
Yeah, when you came over to you bitch. When you came over to our house, you had that pen. I seen you made our house smell it.
I've never done a drug a day in my life.
That's me fucking beating the shit out of your head right now.
No, that's you fumbling the mic, and I'm gonna have to turn that down now.
Well, there you go. I guess something to do. Stuff.
Yeah.
But oh no, Aiden, I think you said Aiden Ross got scammed.
Yeah, he got scammed out of it was like I think $250,000, and the dude like
oh my god,
21 Savage like. You could see videos of him telling his people to like mark cards so that they marked all the high cards so that whenever he could like kind of see in Aiden Ross's hand if he had high cards and whatnot. And so he just kind of like marked those cards. I think there was loaded dice as well. Like they just came to steal money from that white boy. And they did. They stole a whole lot.
Oh my god. That in and of itself sucks.
Yeah,
losing $250,000. First of all, at a young age, I don't know how you have $250,000.
He has so much money. I don't think he's like worried about the money aspect of it all. I would feel upset that I invited someone into like my home and like
stole money
and they just stole from you, dude.
Yeah, it's like inviting CJ over and being like. Him just taking my Warhammer stuff and be like, "Oh, I see you, KABOOM." Like, wait, what?
And like, I'm sure 21 Savage has a lot of bodyguards.
Oh,
so what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, try and fucking fight him right there for the money he stole?
Oh yeah,
probably gonna get fucked up.
This is a last minute topic, but I have been seeing a lot of like streamers and YouTubers who have hired these big bodyguards and just go around being a complete nuisance to people.
You're talking about Jack Doherty, I think.
I'm talking about Neon and Jack Doherty. Yeah, I'm talking about those two in general.
Oh, Neon's a little fucking. I can't stand Neon.
I cannot stand Neon, but I can't stand both. I can't stand both of them because he taunts like innocent people. Be like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Just starts some shit with innocent people, and then like has the guard step in, dude. It's the biggest pussy shit I've ever seen.
But not only that, he's still hiding behind the bodyguard and stepping on and be like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do, buddy? What are you gonna do? You gotta do shit and stuff. You're not gonna just say like, shut the fuck up." I'm not gonna wish violence on anyone actually,
no,
but
best not.
But there is gonna be a time where that bodyguard's gonna be overwhelmed, and you're gonna be in a situation.
It'll catch up with him.
It'll catch up, yeah. As for Neon, I cannot stand Neon. He has the mentality of a fucking 12-year-old. And that to me is just enough for me to just hate the person. Because
do you think there's a lot of himself actually in there, or it's fully a character?
well, if he's playing a character, he's playing the one that I do not like. But if he's turning off the camera and being like, okay, that was a pretty good video, then I can understand it. Yeah, he's doing it.
I'd rather it be a character and him like setting all this up, because
if
then
that's
those
how
people
he
aren't
is,
actually getting harmed.
Yeah, if that's how he is in real life, I don't know why people want to hang out with him, because he's such an annoying little shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's not. He's like, I don't know. It just sounds like that to me. That's all I hear from him.
You sound like XQC right there, dude. Chat.
Oh my god, chat. Oh my god.
That dude is one of the most, I think, like, he's not even trying, and he's incredibly entertaining. I think he's like reached a level of ADHD that is like
Uncurable.
absolutely uncurable. But absolutely entertaining to watch, you know?
It's a dumpster fire. Everyone's there to watch him just like be a dump. It's just content that's just there to be like, I'm gonna watch this person and see what they're doing and see if like something bad happens to them.
You think, well, I can't say that. I do think a lot of people watch, things to watch bad things happen, which is absolutely insane. I guess I can understand a bit of morbid curiosity, but I've never wanted to watch violence. It always like churns my stomach.
Yeah, that is true. Violence is not the key in things at the moment. But if you're those people who just like to annoy people and hide behind bodyguards, it's gonna catch up to you. It's gonna 100%.
And like I don't agree with whatever might happen at that point, but I can't say that it wasn't coming.
Yeah. Oh no. If Neon is playing a character, he is playing one that I do not like. And Joydy, you can only hide behind one bodyguard. Just be careful. Don't. You might fuck with the wrong person, and then
yeah,
you might get
help against the gun.
You might, yeah. You won't be standing there laughing at him.
Nah. But yeah, that's I think that's it for what we have to talk about today, huh?
Yeah, that's a pretty good episode.
Yeah,
we talked a lot about good stuff.
Thank you everybody for tuning in to the Exploding Baby Kangaroo podcast. We are going to be signing out here. It's me, Tired Joey, and
I'm KABOOM.
That's what you say your name.
Oh, I'm KABOOM.
He's KABOOM. It was wonderful talking with you for this hour, KABOOM. You're a little bitch, and I hope you have a good nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna put laundry in, and I'm gonna edit a video, and then I'm probably gonna take a nap.
This guy's not even gonna nap like he said he was gonna.
No, I have some stuff to work. I'm wide awake now, which is pretty fucking sad. When I first started this podcast, I was like, now
we're getting into it. Goodbye, everyone.
But